Oh, hello. Welcome back to the Golden Geese Podcast, episode number 4. Today I'm joined by Rachel Ty and Mr. Eric Proyle. Welcome. How are you guys doing today?
We're not too bad. Thanks for having us.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So natural.
Oh, man. It's always been a dream to be on this show. Thank you very much, Mr. Spider.
Thank you. All 2 viewers appreciate your guys' presence. Thank you. But, yes. Well, thank you guys for coming on today. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of anime. I've just been interested to talk about some shit because I've watched a couple of shows recently.
And how about you talk about those?
What?
How about you talk about those? The ones you've watched recently.
I don't think I'm gonna disclose every single one I've seen recently, but yeah, there's a couple that I have in mind, but someone else should probably go first. So, Ty, I mean, what's an anime you've seen recently that you think we should see? Give us your elevator pitch for said anime. Go ahead.
Oh man, you're starting off with me. Okay, there were a couple. Yeah, there were a couple that I wanted to talk about for this show. But I think I'm going to narrow it down. I feel like the one, if you know me, this is probably the one that you're expecting me to talk about. But I'm going to talk about Bungo Stray Dogs. I got it right here, right behind me. This is actually one of the side series, not quite the main series. But Bungo Stray Dogs is great. If you like shonen, this is kind of a step up from that. I feel like a lot of anime, manga nowadays, they focus heavily on like high school age people. For me, I'm a little bit older now. I used to like that kind of content, but see, I feel like I've aged out of that. So for me, I like yeah, exactly. Like, I'm out of high school, I'm out of college, that whole academia. I may work at a university, but I'm not trying to like live in that atmosphere all the time. So for me, it's important to find something that kind of resonates with my current age and my current station in life. And so Bungo Stray Dogs is great because the idea is it is a detective series where all the characters, they work at like a detective agency. If you like My Hero Academia, it's great because it has a bunch of like supernatural abilities. The best part of it though is just the characters. They're just a lot of really, really friendly and welcoming characters that are interesting. They have great abilities. One of my favorite characters, Dazai in particular, he has some nullifying powers, which gets really interesting with like how, certain characters interact with one another. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think if you like classic literature, this is kind of the cherry on top for me. If you like classic literature, this is a great anime because all of the characters are loosely based. They're mostly in name, based on other characters or other people in real life. So at some point you get like Mark Twain and like other big notable literary figures from different countries, and I think that's really awesome. So anyways, Bungo Stray Dogs is my top choice for this podcast.
Have you seen it all of like the entire series so far, or
I have, and I think that's one part that I'm trying to avoid, or something that I'm trying to kind of play around because I'm not sure if you want me to dive into spoilers. Currently is like if you're
for me because I feel like
Yeah, I feel like the only other person in this room who has seen Bungo Stray Dogs is Eric. Surprisingly, so I get a lot of we're gonna hear Mr. Proyle here in a little bit, but I feel like I get a lot of my recommendations from Proyle. This is not one that he recommended me, but I like it a lot. If you're an anime only kind of person, it is currently up to season 4. It's a little bit more mature. I kind of alluded to this earlier. It's a step up from shonen. I think I asked Eric before this, but I think it's called a seinen or don't quote me on that. It's like a seinen. I'm not sure the pronunciation, but it's a seinen manga. It's essentially just like it's manga that's marketed towards like younger adult men. Like shonen is usually for like younger boys. This one's like a step up from that. So like people who are a little bit mature, a little bit older than young boys.
Would that be like the same category as Berserk? Because I know that one's definitely for like older people, for sure.
Yeah. I'd say it's a lot less violent. So for me, like as far as like violence goes, like as far as I will go is like Attack on Titan, and even that is like at times a little more gruesome than I would prefer. But yeah, it's not quite as crazy as like Berserk. But there's still a lot of action. It's just not as like gruesome and bloody. I I don't know if y'all are into that, but that's something that's kind of a no-go for me.
Right. I mean, I'm not averse to blood, but it's like I think it's weird. Like as I've gotten older, I'm a little more sensitive to like gory shit. Like I don't seek it out, or like I don't s- I don't seek it out, or it's like when I see it, I'm just like, ugh, that's just distasteful. You know what I mean? Like
Hello, son. Here he comes.
Sorry, my son is yelling at me.
I would say it's kind of a word I was going for too. Like at this point, I feel like it has to be tasteful. It's got to add extra tension to the whatever's going on. But excessively gory, like nah, I'm just not about that anymore.
Yeah, I guess while we're on that topic, I kind of feel the same way about like sexual themes. Like I feel like if you were gonna have like a heavy like sexual presence, like I'd like it to one be tasteful, but then two kind of matter. We've watched, we've talked about this recently, but we've watched some anime that was a little bit more sexual in nature.
Yeah,
I think like, some animes do it well.
Obviously, yeah, you're right. Like fan service is kind of a thing where it's just like, yeah, I get it, but it's also just like when it's happening like constantly, it's just kind of annoying. Like I guess
it's distracting, and it just feels unnecessary. I mean, you know what? We're gonna talk about the elephant in the room. Jobless reincarnation. No. That's one that we've been talking about a little bit recently. There's a lot of sexual themes, and you know what? I think the show would be a lot better if they toned it back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is a bit unnecessary, to be completely honest. I mean, that's the thing, though, too. I mean, you got to think, like, certain anime are obviously marketed towards, like, teenagers and shit like that. And if you're, like, a teenage boy, you're just, like... I was, like, watching Monster Musume. Like, I mean, a friend of mine I know was watching Monster Musume. And it was, at the time, it was revolutionary for my friend Braden, who is not here. But, he tells me good things about it. But obviously, I wonder if he would feel the same way nowadays, considering...
we're gonna need an anime part 2 at some point, because I'm gonna need the folks here who watch a little bit more risque anime to get up on the podium and let me know what they've been watching recently.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I think in terms of gore though, I like, I don't know, I just like it to make sense. Like I think in any good story that you just. It can tend to feel like filler when they just like overload it with like, oh, this is just like kind of gross, or in either way, whether it's like sexual or just gore. So yeah, I don't know. It's all about storytelling. Like it depends how you do it. So
that's what matters at the end of the day. And I think that's why I mentioned Attack on Titan earlier. That's why I gave Attack on Titan a pass, because I think Attack on Titan storytelling is really, really phenomenal. They have some really great twists in there. And like overall, I can get past some of the excessive goriness that I'm typically not used to because of the storytelling. It's like I want to see the series.
Pete, thank you.
I agree. I think, at least for me, when it comes to watching media, and in this case, anime, I kind of just like burned through a lot of anime in the past, which later got me to burn out just in general. So I haven't watched too much anime in recent years. But what I've noticed is if you have, I agree with a lot of the stuff y'all are saying. I think mine, I guess my threshold's a little higher, because what I've noticed with a lot of these shows is it's very rare to find something that like tickles your fancy in every regard and nothing is deemed bad, for lack of better words, in my eyes. Or anybody's eyes. I kind of have like, okay, well, as long as most of the stuff I'm watching is okay and I can get down with it, there might be like a subject here or there. Like it's like, okay, well, this is kind of corny, but everything else is fine,
Yeah, it's like you have to look at the whole picture to see, is just like, okay, overall, is this worth watching? Is this like, because the worst thing you could be is fucking boring, like in like a storytelling.
Yeah.
Like so.
That's why I get all my recommendations.
And then if you're too picky. Yeah, I try my best. But yeah, if you're too picky, you might, a lot of people got three episode rules, so they'll watch the first 3 episodes. If they don't like anything about it, they're like, yeah, no, this shit's dropped. And it's like, okay, well, I guess that's fair, but if you do that, you might miss like a good amount of stuff, thematic wise.
So I just watched something too that it could drop or continue going depending on your guys' recommendation. Have you seen Solo Leveling, and is it good?
Oh, I literally just sent you a Snapchat. I saw the manga at a Barnes Nobles, and I said, you know what? I think Alex would like this. I've already watched. I caught up with the anime, but I saw it in the Barnes Nobles, and I was like, yeah, I think he'd really be into this. But tell me your thoughts, and then I think I will go into my thoughts.
So, I mean, first off, like, I think it looks like really good, like, in terms of like visuals, and that's pretty. I think that's pretty standard for like most anime nowadays. I think we're pretty far past the point where it's just like you can tell how old an anime is by just looking at like how rough the lines are. But I don't know. I mean, I just didn't get the strongest impression of the main character in the first episode, and I'm sure that's probably changes over like some more development, but it's just like, I don't know, he's just kind of your typical, oh, he's kind of a fucking loser. I'm sure he'll go through some sort of transformative experience, like Parasite or something like that, where he becomes a total badass. Because I only figure that because I saw an ad for Solo Leveling, the game, the mobile game, while we were watching the show, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, it's been kind of spoiled for me, I guess, but I would have liked to have waited to see his final form, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think I like the concept. I think it's super cool, right? It's like a mixture of like modern society with like fantasy shit. That's super dope. So I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it going, but obviously you seem to like it, so I might give it another chance.
Yeah, I'll let Proil give his thoughts here in a second, because I know he has read a good amount of it more than I have, so he's much farther into it. But I'm at the end of the anime of where it's currently at, so you're gonna catch up to that at some point. I liked it a lot. I wouldn't say it's like the top of my anime list. We talked recently about curating a whole list of like where we would rank all the animes we've seen. I'd say Solo Leveling, at least right now, is like solidly kind of in the middle for me. I kind of put like I put it loosely where I put like My Hero Academia. It has been all right. It is definitely one of those like typical like shonen protagonists who goes through this transformation of being like this nice wimpy kid to honestly he has a complete transformation. It is a complete 180. In fact, if you look at any like cover art for Solo Leveling, it looks like a completely different character from like who he is at the start versus who he is like a few episodes later. I liked it. I mean, I think overall it has interesting developments. But I'll let Eric go into it since I think he might have a little bit better insight as to the full picture.
I mean, yeah, I think you covered most of it. So that's the one thing about anime and a lot of media just in general. They'll hit the same tropes, right? So if you know what you're looking for and this is the type of stuff you love to indulge, then definitely continue to read it. It's got traditional power leveling stuff. It has a lot of nice twists to it, so it is a nice breath of fresh air. But if you like, okay, this guy had his struggles, he went through them, he got stronger, now he's curb stomping people like later in the story, and I would definitely stick with it. I can't say anything about that anime. Never watched it. I did finish reading the manhwa up until its initial conclusion, and then it came out with more chapters after, which I just never went back to read some epilogue shit.
Sometimes that's for the best, you know what I mean?
Definitely say you should read it. Right, like in my head is like done, right?
Yeah,
like I'm good. The story concluded. I don't really need to risk ruining my initial image of it. So I'll go back.
Fucking
Eric, do you want to?
Yeah, exactly. Like I heard Death Note, and I was like, okay, so don't watch season 1, bet. And I never went past it.
You did the right
thing. I made that mistake. Yeah. No, so I noticed you said something that I thought was interesting, and maybe we should like loosely talk about. So you said you read the manhwa, right? That's the term you used.
Right.
That's more or less like light novels, right?
Correct.
So can you talk about like your experience with like the light novels over reading like the manga?
Sure. So I think over time, like obviously manga was predominant storytelling for like overseas media. And then actually over recent years, like Korean stories, manhwas. There's also another like very similar sounding. I'm pretty sure it's still just manhwa, just spelled like slightly different. That's for like China, I believe. Have kind of caught fire. So like, for example, like Solo Leveling, and before this one was Tower of God. Tower of God, I think, was the first like manhwa that came out as anime. And everybody was hyped because if Tower of God did well, and what was the other one? God of High School, I believe. If those two went well in everybody's eyes, like that was the gateway drug to get like manhwas, webtoons, all this other non-manga shit into animes. And initially, people were like, "Oh, we fucked up." Well, not really we, but whoever made God of High School and Tower of God fucked up, because from what I heard, those animes kind of flopped. They didn't do as well as they were hoping. So they're like, "Ah, shit, we're never getting solo leveling." And several years later, we got solo leveling now. So I think we're kind of stepping into that domain. Not too sure if I wholeheartedly answer your question there, but
yeah, I only wanted to bring it up because the difference between like manhwa and manga, I think it's pretty interesting because it opens up the door for people who like more of a traditional kind of reading experience as opposed to reading what are more or less like comic panels. I know Jordan, as an example, my sister's new husband. He told me recently, he was like, "Yeah, I've been listening to Solo Leveling," and I was like, "What? You're just like listen?" Like, 'cause he drives a lot. I was like, "How are you listening to manga?" And it turns out, yeah, he had been listening to the manhwa, which is just the light novel. Like he's been as an audiobook, he's just been listening to the story, and he's really enjoyed it. I mean, in fact, the other person who I would say is like a big fan of Solo Leveling is Jordan, and it's because he's listened to it primarily.
Wow, I didn't even know there was a thing.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh well, I guess to put a cap on it.
There's some animes that have light novels as well. Oh no, I was just saying there's animes that have light novels as well.
Oh, I got you. Well, I was gonna say, I guess to cap off the Bungo Stray Dogs, we kind of went on a fucking big old tangent. What would you? So out of 10, what would you rate the Bungo Stray Dogs?
I'd say Bungo Stray Dogs is a solid 9 out of 10. I don't think I have described it in such an appealing way, but I've talked a little bit about the good. I haven't talked about any of the bad, but like I don't think I've found a series that have had such likable characters that have just captured me in such a way. It's another one of those good examples as to where like the older characters, I just feel like I relate to a lot more, and I like a lot more than the younger characters. I feel that way about series like My Hero Academia, where I'm just like, the only characters I really like from that series are like the older teachers, the teachers, Yeah. And I feel the same way about Bungo. Bingo Bongo Bungo, as I like to call it. But as you can see behind me, I also really like some of their side series. So this one right here is their Beast series. It's a side series where I know Baruto does something similar to this, but they like flip who the protagonist is, and they make the protagonist kind of like the antagonist, and one of the antagonists, one of the protagonists. I feel like it's just been really rare for me to find a series where I like the whole cast of characters so much that like even if you flip the story and make the antagonist the protagonist and just like flip their shoes, like I'm actively engaged in the series.
Well, that's good.
Anyways, 9 out of 10.
I'm sure at some point I'll pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
But on to the next one. Rachel,
What?
go ahead.
Go ahead. What?
Go ahead and give your elevator pitch for the manga or anime that you have brought today.
Well, I didn't think I was gonna be on today, so how does that go?
I don't know. Just pick one you've watched, and then what you think are the key sticking points that would make someone want to watch it.
I don't know.
You've read some anime.
Like showing up to a quiz, but you gotta study.
Right.
That's how I felt. I was actually on the fence between Bungo Stray Dogs and Hell's Paradise. And if we get to like a bonus round, I'll give my brief elevator pitch about Hell's Paradise later. I actually thought Braden was going to be here, and I know he likes Hell's Paradise.
That would have been great.
It's true.
Yeah, I would have had him back me up. But Eric knows about it.
Well, he's an unreliable man, and that just goes to show what it is. I'm gonna clip that for him so he hears it too. Well, so do you think?
Like it has to be someone new?
No, it doesn't have to be new. It's just one you've watched. I mean, we could have done it thematically, like a new one that you've seen, like first impression style. But I think for this, we can just do one that you think people should see because you think it's good. You don't have to have it finished either. I think that Ty is just caught up with the one he thought. So you just whatever, you know.
I haven't watched that much.
You can also jump around. You're putting her
it's
on
okay.
the spot.
Here. Let me go first.
Yeah, you put her on the spot. It's okay to put me on the spot. I don't put Rachel on the spot.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, okay. Well, I guess for mine, since we're not doing just new ones, because I've cracked open a couple today that I kind of wanted to talk about, but like I feel like I can't really give a good verdict on them since I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes from each. So I'm just gonna fall back on Old Reliable. I haven't finished it, but I must say it is very good, and it's a little old, but that's okay because I think I tend to like older anime anyway because I think the art style just kind of appeals to me a lot more. But I'm gonna go with Yu Yu Hakusho because I think it is just it's a cool series. I think it's classified as shonen. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. I feel like, have you seen it?
Yeah, it's shonen.
Yeah, it's shonen. But that being said, I think it does a good job of I don't know, just taking you on a fun little adventure, right? The main character, I mean, spoiler alert, fucking dies episode 1, and then that's how he pretty much gains his powers because, you know, they bring his ass back, and they're like, all right, bro, you're basically the Men in Black, but for ghosts now or demons. Like that's essentially what the series kind of revolves around. Like him and his friends that he picks up along the way, just kind of fighting to rid the world of evil. Like it's good. I think like in terms of combat and like just like action wise, it's a very fun one to watch because I feel like I can't say that about all old anime. Like I can't go back and watch Dragon Ball Z. Or Dragon Ball originally because I'm just like it doesn't really do the same thing for me that it did back once when I was a kid, but this one was so fresh to me and it was such a different concept that I was like, okay, cool, yeah, this is like a reset and I can enjoy this shonen much more than I feel like I can nowadays, I guess. But yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho, great show, great characters. Yusuke is fucking iconic looking, and I will say the dub is actually really good, and I can always appreciate a good dub in any anime because I feel like it's kind of hard to do it well sometimes, and especially for older ones. So they did good with that with Yu Yu Hakusho. That would be mine. So I give it I haven't finished it yet, but I will. So I'm gonna give it like a 8 for now, and then we'll recalculate later. So yeah, that's mine.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but maybe Eric, have you?
Yeah. So Yu Yu Hakusho is like one of those shows where it might have been one of the first ones I watched. It's kind of hard because a lot of them that were on Adult Swim or late night Cartoon Network, they kind of just jumbled in my head. But it's definitely one of my earlier ones.
Nice. I feel like a fun topic that you know, Alex, you're kind of guiding the ship here, but you know, I know we're talking about like animes we would pitch. I feel like a fun topic, maybe for this one or for the next one, is just like how we got into anime. Because Eric kind of alluded to it. You know, there's a lot of anime that was on Adult Swim that I know that was kind of the gateway drug for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I feel like that'd be a fun topic one day.
Of course. Yeah, sure. I mean, we can do it today if we still have time. I mean, so
we'll go around the horn and maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead. Eric, do you want
to? For my anime?
Yeah.
Sure. So, yeah, just in your mind, go ahead and close your eyes and just imagine a time long ago. And by that, I mean like 2015.
Okay.
The days before Among Us dropped. All right. So the idea of a group of people coming in and somebody being a spy, that shit was brand new. That shit was exhilarating. And just to kind of preface like what my anime interests are, seinen and mystery, those two are probably like very high there as far as types of anime or manga or whatever I enjoy. And this one kind of deals with both. It's called Rokka the Sixth Braves, I believe. Braves being heroes in Japanese. Basically, the story kind of begins with this one individual trying to trek out, become the strongest fighter for whatever reason. You know, just it's one of those taglines, right? And in order to do that, you have to be chosen as one of the 6 like god reincarnates to fight evil. And obviously, for there to be a story, he was chosen as one. And so were 5 others. So they had to go find each other, tag up, defeat the demon, whatever the fuck. That's more or less the synopsis. However, as they kind of joined up at the sacred holy grounds, wherever they're supposed to meet up at, it was actually 7. There's only 6 heroes. So the biggest thing is like, okay, this isn't right. So what's going on here? And as they're just trying to converse, figure out people, they realize somebody's doing some fuck shit in the background, sabotaging everybody. So now they have to figure out like who it is, what's their game plan, and ultimately, rat them out of the group. And it had a lot of twists and turns. I love being like mentally active while watching anime nowadays. Granted, again, this is 2015, so this one's older, but it still kind of carries what I enjoy. Like if I can kind of just half pay attention and still follow the theme and guess like potential their plot holes or potential plot twists, I feel like you're doing a bad job kind of conveying what you want to do. Because like, bro, if I can sit down and my 5-year-old brain can figure this shit out, like, okay, we got a problem. But for this anime, it had a lot of twists, and I even went, most of the anime, probably the whole anime, making many guesses on who the potential person might have been, and just wrong every time until the end. So definitely enjoyed it. So again, that was Rokka the 6 Braves. Let me look it up again just to make sure I'm saying it correctly.
I think you put that on my
Rokka Braves of the 6 Flowers. There you go.
What was it again, Eric?
Rokka Braves of the 6 Flowers.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. I might have to check that out because I will say, like, anime adjacent, I fucking loved Persona 4, and that game was so fucking sick because I didn't realize that I too love mysteries and just like trying to solve shit because I'm not good at mysteries or solving things. Like, I would not win a game of Clue. And that's honestly one of the things I appreciated about like Persona 4. Luckily, Ty didn't spoil it for me because he knew the whole time who the fuck was, the killer the entire time, which I don't know if for those who have not played Persona 4, the entire game is pretty much just you and your friends in this small bumfuck nowhere town trying to figure out who is this serial killer like murdering various teenagers and people around town. And you just obviously you gain your powers and you try to track him down and kill him. And it's just so wild to me because at the end I was just like, what? That almost doesn't even make sense. But then it's so yeah, that sounds good. I might actually have to check that one out though.
Yeah, there is nothing like the rush of when the big reveal finally happens, like you not expecting it. I think that's what Eric's trying to get across with why he likes this one so much.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good.
Yeah, I will say, so Eric, I want to hear what you would give this one out of 10. I gotta say though, every single anime recommendation Eric has ever given me, it is always a hit. He has not missed a single time.
He don't miss.
Now he put pressure on me, bro. Because now I'm gonna say this shit. Now I better come back to me. Yo,
this better be the best shit I've ever seen in my life, bro.
I'm watching the first 2 episodes tonight.
I'm gonna watch episode 1 as soon as we get off here, and you're gonna get a text message from me and be like, bro, don't ever fucking recommend me shit again, bro. if it's not good, we're gonna have a problem. So I'll just let you know. I'll keep you posted.
That was interesting, right? Because me as a person, I'm not too, I'm not really fond of the extremes, so I wouldn't really put too many things as like 10s or high 9s. So I would say this is probably like a solid 8. There's definitely some, like for example, etchy moments. It is what it is. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes you just gotta hold that. There might be something in the package in there.
Be like, all right, it's just part of the genre,
Yeah, you just gotta. All right, yep, here it is. Yep, I expected this shit. So I'll give it somewhere around 7, 8. I definitely enjoyed it. It's one of the first animes that got me back in anime because I think I'm on my like second highest at this point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I try to give recommendations, I do try to choose like, I don't know if different is the correct word. I try to choose something out there, but I definitely have to parse through all the shit that I've watched because I have a feeling of what some people may or may not like. I kind of missed on Tyler recently with the jobless reincarnation because I completely forgot about all the sexual stuff. Yeah. So when he came back, he's like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck?"
He's like, "Man, shit, my bad for watching." Man.
I say, "Yo, you did not say this." What he sold me on, he was just like, "Yeah, the truck comes out of nowhere, kills this man."
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. It's just like the craziest part about that anime is there's so much cool shit in the world. Like, I think it does a good job of like world building because I think the aspect and the combat is like really good, and like the side characters are also like fucking sick. Like Ruijerd, I think is his name. Awesome character, love him. And pretty much most of the sidekicks that Rudy picks up along the way. But it's just like the pockets of fucking weird is just what kind of fucks it up. And I don't know. So it's.
But you have watched it all.
I have seen it. Yeah, I have seen it.
Oh yeah. He's caught all the way up.
Well, I don't know, but I don't know. It's not a bad anime. It's not like, you know.
No, Eric, you still do not miss. It has still captured my interest. Now, does Lily tell me on a consistent basis I can stop anytime I want because it is a little weird at times? Maybe, but it's been good so far.
I mean, the concept is interesting.
If we take those, as long as it's mostly good, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. But aside from that, I was watching two of the ones actually that. Oh wait, oh, okay. So Eric gave a score. Richard, did you want to go? You don't have to, obviously. Yes or no? Okay. Well, that's fine then. Well, then let me tell you just two that I saw recently. Saw episode of one each, kind of 1.5. So the first one is Reign of the Seven Spellblades. I don't know if you heard of this one. Have either of you heard of this one?
That sounds familiar. Go ahead and continue. I'm gonna look it up in the background.
Okay,
this is a podcast. I forgot. I can't. Just shake my head.
Yeah,
no, I gotta let you know.
I
have not seen this. Yo,
Exactly.
What is this?
That's what I like. That's what I need. Okay. Well. Okay. So imagine Harry Potter. If you and J.K. Rowling wasn't a pussy. Now, this show is going to be a little bit more. It's almost the opening shots of the show are almost like a dead like look-alike of the Harry Potter series, because it's got like you've got your dark-haired Harry Potter kid, doesn't have glasses because it's anime. He's got to look cool, so that way they can sell. But they have your Ron Weasley. He also looks sick, and he's got a cool Dante haircut, from the remake of Devil May Cry. And then obviously they have the Hermione. But aside from that, they have more than that. They have 3 more characters that are super cool, at least from the 2 episodes that I've seen so far. And they all come from different parts of the world, and they all have their unique, quirky personalities. And the Hogwarts they go to is like if Hogwarts would kill you much more consistently than it does in regular Harry Potter, because it's just going to be much more deadly, and they're a lot more fast.
Weeding out, really.
Exactly. Because I mean, you can die in the Harry Potter books. Like they were never a stranger to that, but. In episode 1, the headmaster, who's Dumbledore but with like giant titties, she's just like, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna come to this school. You might not make it out the other side. That's just how it is. And you're just like, oh, okay. So the tone is already set. But aside from that, this may be like one of the prettiest looking anime I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Or maybe
like,
it's your 4K TV.
It could just be my 4K TV that I just recently bought. $33, by the way. Yeah, it could be that, but shit. Genuinely, the animation was fucking like so good, and like the colors are so rich and vibrant. Like it was like shocking. I was like, holy shit, maybe it is just.
Is this a new anime?
I think.
No idea.
I have no clue.
What was it called again? Here, I'll look it up quick.
It's called The Reign of the Seven Spellblades.
Reign of the Seven.
Yeah, but it definitely answers a question that I often think.
Have
you seen this one?
I see that on recommended.
I haven't seen the anime. I decided it on my reading list. Never watched it or read it though.
Okay. I got you.
2018.
Well, I would specifically, Eric. I would watch the anime just to see like how it's just pretty looking. Like it's eye candy. But
wait, it's 2023. Oh no, it's 2023. Okay, so it is very recent. Yeah, it's of last year.
Yeah, because the colors are just super oversaturated, and like I think visually it's super fluid. Like a lot of the animation is just like some shit that it's just smooth and nice to look at. And I always love that in an anime when I can like be like, ooh, that was good. That's cool. So
after you wrap this one up, I'm going to transition into talking about what I should have. I'm going to try to give this one a honest and better representation than what I gave Bungo.
Yeah, you're good. Well, I guess the last thing to say about it is it always answers the age-old question about like wizardry and shit like that. Why don't you just fucking stab them? You know what I mean? Like they're taking forever to cast spells and incantations. In that distance, I could have closed and shanked them. And they do that in this anime because it's just like they say, okay, all wizards, hey, aside from your spells, you need a sword. Because they'll fuck you up if you don't have one, and I like that because it's like realistic, quote unquote, for like a fantasy. So, but that's the last thing I'll say about it. Cool anime. I need to watch more of it, so I won't give it a score, but recommend 2 thumbs up so far.
Okay. Yeah, it's not like guns, like spells and incantations. Like you need a second to charge up a bit, so you get in there.
Right. I'm surprised like spellcasters don't die more often in anime, to be honest, because it's kind of unrealistic that they just let them charge up and shit like that.
I'd actually love.
I mean, it's just an honor system, right?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I think that's a perfect segue because before I talk about this next anime, I want to ask y'all's opinion on this because I feel like this is a common topic with an anime. So the idea of letting your opponent charge up before you beat their ass. What are your thoughts?
I think it's stupid.
It's fucking stupid.
It's fucking dumb.
What? It's honorable. What do y'all mean?
No, it's fucking. I think it just
I understand what I said. There's no honor in a fight.
Yeah. Like I like when they just sock them in the fucking face or they just fire off. Because realistically, like I think the problem is too a lot of these characters that are like letting them charge up are like villains. They're like, oh, I want to experience you at your full power, and I'm just like, no, dude, like just kill them. Just be
like who one of my favorite characters is? Future Trunks. Oh, motherfucker shanked up Frieza and try to do the same shit to Cell.
Yeah.
Like he knows, he understands.
It's true. Yeah, he doesn't mind just waxing him real fucking quick before the shit even like starts. I love that. That's good. There no nonsense characters. I like to see it. So.
I agree with that. I gotta say, I kind of went into this, trying to play both sides, just for the purpose of this podcast. But if I'm being honest, yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I think the perfect example, if you're putting this together in a video later, Alex, the perfect example is in Attack on Titan. There's a moment in like the final season where Eren and his Titan form, they're like storming an area that you get to see much later on. No, I'm not going to spoil, but he just punches the hell out of this one Titan as like they are like actively, buffing up. And it's like, yeah, this person would, beat you if you didn't do that. So it's dumb just to wait for them. That's my final answer.
I get drama and whatnot, but like I think again, it's like we keep going back to it. It's the expense of the story, right? It's just like it's not realistic. And like say what you will about realism in a show about the people turning into fucking giant humanoid monsters that eat humans. Like, you know what I mean? I think like motivation wise, I need to be like, oh yeah, that's totally what a fucking serial killer or fucking villain who's just trying to destroy the world would do. Like, I like that. Like when Frieza blew up the world in Dragon Ball Super, and they but then they rewinded to fix it. Like that's good. I'm glad he just suicide bombed that planet. So, because that's what he would do, and that's realistic.
Right. Going back to like what Tyler said earlier in this podcast, where he grew out of shonens, at least particularly ones that are geared towards school life. I completely get that. And for the most part, like it doesn't really bother me anymore. But kind of similar to what Alex was saying with like, it's part of the story. Like you just gotta hold that. Well, I also got tired of showing. I also like, back as a kid, I might have thought some of these emotional talks and whatever, them talking to themselves, trying to, get that last energy for the final strike. Like, yeah, this shit used to hype me up. Nowadays, it's just like, bro, if you don't shut your 13-year-old chew ass up, if you don't fucking hit him already, just end this shit.
You know how many direct ass whoopings that anime is responsible for that? Because these kids are charging up their inner monologue and bam! It's like they never had a chance, bro. They didn't let them finish in their their little speech in their head. So that
exactly. Eric is probably the best person here at knowing this, but yeah, if you watch a fight scene in an anime and then versus like how it is in the manga, it is so it's like night and day. It's so crazy of a difference because people are just they're just charging up, they're spilling every single thought they have, and the manga is just like a few pages. I actually, we're watching One Piece right now, and I kind of feel that way in a lot of fights. I'm just like, wow, this is dragged on for like 4 or 5 episodes. Like this is probably like a single volume.
It is, but that's just the nature of One Piece, unfortunately. I mean, One Piece is actually really good. Okay, but to be fair, One Piece is a lot better about that shit than Naruto, I will say, because I swear to God, bro. Nothing pissed me off. Like, Naruto took so long in certain sections where I was just like, oh, cool, we're mid-fight. Yeah, that's funny. Let's go to this side story real quick and just completely derail the entire fight that's going on right now. I fucking hate when that shit happens.
Going back to the fucking episode 2 every time.
Like,
bro.
how many
That
times is he
same
going to that fucking
screenshot.
swing, bro? How many times do we have to see this little boy on the swing? I get it, okay? He was sad. Didn't have friends, okay? Let's get back to the shit.
For dramatic effect, you gotta understand. Storytelling.
It works the first time, but, after, like, after the 500th, like...
It's like, oh, where's 10-10? Oh, no, we got the swing instead.
Yeah, it's true.
Never to be seen after the Tamari ass whooping.
Yeah, poor 10-10. There's so many underutilized characters in that show. I can't wait to watch that one with you. It's gonna be fun. We're waiting for
when it gets remade.
Yeah, the remake. Then we're gonna watch it.
Lily has not watched the first arc of Naruto. She actually picked up with it with me, like right after that, and so we've watched all of it post that up until Shippuden. But no, that very first arc was Zabuza, and like that whole arc. She has not seen, so we're waiting for it to get remade too.
Yeah, well, that sucks because that's a crucial one. I love that one.
I know, right? Yeah, we've seen like abridged and parody versions of it. Well, I've seen the whole thing. I've seen both, but like Lily's only seen abridged versions, and it's that's her knowledge.
Have you seen the TikTok where it's just like, he's grooming that child? What are you doing with that fucking with that young boy or whatever the fuck? It's fantastic, bro. But for real though, Zabuza just kidnapped that kid.
Honestly, yeah.
So, yeah, it's
when you put it like that.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it's
it was just like a TikTok meme I saw of the fucking shit. But yeah, that's fun. Someday we'll watch it.
All right, I'd love to take just 1 second to give my 2 cents about Hell's Paradise, because I actually felt like I was more prepared to talk about that one than Bungo.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I, for some reason, opted for Bungo. But I'll keep this one quick. So my quick elevator.
We got about 15 minutes. You can bring us home.
Hey, Hell's Paradise. I think this is one that Eric has definitely read it. It may have been a little bit. I know Alex has not. So I got someone who is new, someone who has seen it. So Hell's Paradise. It is. We just talked about a really pretty anime. This is probably my favorite anime as far as just like aesthetics, because it is by far the most gorgeous piece of anime that I have seen in a long time. You were talking about an anime that's extremely colorful. This one has that. This one focuses primarily on a boy. This is a shonen, by the way. It focuses on this boy / young man named Gabimaru. He is a ninja, which is cool. I know a lot of us like Naruto in the room. But Gabimaru is a prisoner. He's kind of lost his way in life. Like, he's not sure if he wants to be this like killing machine. He grew up in this clan that like that's all they focused on. They all focused on killing. He's not really into that anymore. Lost his way. And this group of samurai picks him up and is like, hey, you're this killer. You should be executed for this. But you know what? We got one out for you. If you join all these other prisoners and go to this island, find the elixir of life, then you can get out. You can have this pardon. And Gabimaru, his whole idea is like, okay, you know what? I'm going to try this. My only goal in life is to go back home and find my wife. He's married. If you look at this kid does not look like he's married, but he is. I promise you, if this is a video later, put a photo on the screen. This looks like a young boy. This guy is not married, but he is. And anyway, that's his whole goal. But it is by far the prettiest. If you like ninja, if you like samurai, if you like good action, it is perfect. The other 2 cents that I feel like I always kind of like circle back to that I really like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think they do a really good job with sexuality. Not sexual theme, but like sexuality and like gender themes. I think they do a really good job compared to many other pieces of anime and media. So like I like a lot of like classic literature. I like whenever I write about things, like I feel like I tend to write about like just sexuality and gender in like things like in media that I like. I think that they do a really good job in this one. This is going to be like a loose spoiler, but not fully. There are these beings in the world called Tensen, and like the coolest thing about them is that they are extremely gender fluid. They're more or less these gods, and like they just swap between like male, female, non-binary, just non-conforming kind of identities, and they just do a really good job of presenting it and saying like, hey, this being in this world is all powerful, but like it's not a big deal. They're just kind of swapping back and forth, and so I think it's really cool. I think I'll leave it at that. I think they just do a good job of presenting sexuality. It is very action-packed, and by far it is extremely beautiful. They have 1 season so far if you're an anime watcher. But they have 12 volumes or 12 or 13 volumes of the manga. And I have one of them behind me, and you can kind of tell it's like extremely colorful. But yeah, that is honestly, out of the two, I feel like I'm a little bit more passionate about recommending Hell's Paradise over Bungo at the moment. I'd also give Hell's Paradise a solid like 9 out of 10. It's animated by Mappa. And I feel like after I watched the anime, I immediately was like, I'm going to go buy this manga right now. And I did.
Damn. That's some conviction right there. That's fun. Good. Well, then you're really going to like One Piece when you get to Impel Down. So that's a, I won't spoil it for you, but let's just say there's a pretty cool group of characters that comes out of that whole arc, and it is so fucking good. So, Pete.
Yeah, I feel bad that the one thing I said about One Piece has been negative. I really like One Piece so far. We are almost at the point where we're going to meet Chopper. But it's been really solid. I can't decide if I like Zoro or Sanji. Lily says that Sanji reminds her more of me, and so I'm like, oh, maybe I'll lean towards more him. But I don't know. Zoro's really solid. I just really like his bond to Luffy.
It's hard to pick a favorite character in One Piece because there's just so many good characters, and Usopp, unfortunately. But I genuinely, it's such a good show, and I feel like it's so funny to me because everyone's always just like, oh, bro, I'm not about to watch 1,000 episodes of this fucking anime, and until they do, right? Like everyone shit talks One Piece until they try it, and they're just like, you know what? This shit's kind of fire. Like I can't lie. It's just such a breath of fresh air from like a lot of the other shit that I tend to watch or see on, I don't know. It's a good form of escapism. That's why I appreciate that show a lot. So always recommend.
Yeah, I'm not against watching something that long. Like obviously, I went through Naruto, Bleach, other animes that are long. I just want that shit to finish, so I can actually start.
That's fair.
I know there were some conversations about One Piece potentially finishing pretty soon.
I heard that shit 5 years ago.
I know. I feel like this is probably a conversation. I just recently got into One Piece, but I feel like this is almost certainly a conversation that is just completely on a cycle. It's just they talk about it every now and then. But I think Oda, the mangaka, he was like, yeah, I should really start thinking about, what the One Piece truly is, whether it's the friends we made along the way, or Nami's titties. I don't know. But I think people are speculating it's going to end soon.
The One Piece, no, it's just gonna go directly into Two Piece, the sequel. And see, my theory for that, the sequel, it's gonna just end up in space. That's just where I think it's heading. Of course,
Where else do they go?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The adventure must continue, and I think they're running out of ocean. So that's the only logical. Space pirates is the only logical, next step for the show. So.
Oh, and it transitions to Cowboy Bebop.
Pretty much, yeah.
What about internet pirates?
Internet what?
Internet pirates.
Oh, that's not as cool. I mean, it's getting a lot more cool now since all these fucking streaming services are paying me, they're making me pay $20 goddamn so I can watch their ad tier version of their platform. It's pissing me off. Yeah, now I just have HBO at this point. Like I'm responsible for HBO, Prime. I just get that shit with my subscription for the packages and shit. But aside from that, like I'm not buying fucking Netflix. They just don't have that good enough shit for me to, buy in like that.
Honestly, after this, Alex, Rachel, and Eric, just saying, I am going to share my Crunchyroll login and password because I would like. So not only I actually sent it in the chat. Not only was the recommendation that Eric sent in there, but also I genuinely recommend Hell's Paradise. I spoke a little more about that. Honestly, go ahead and cut out my Bungo. That was like my test. Go ahead and cut out my Bingo Bongo Bungo recommendation.
Oh, you love
that
Bingo
one.
Bingo Bungo.
That one.
Yeah,
I love it. But that's me. That's me personally, and I didn't give it the credit it deserves. I didn't give it the credit it deserves. But I'm satisfied with how I talked about Hell's Paradise, and I think that one genuinely. I think you would like that one more than Bingo Bongo Bungo. It takes a special kind of man to appreciate Bungo Stray Dogs.
See, I can't log into your Crunchyroll account because then you'll see, all the anime I'm watching. You know what I mean? You'd be like, what is this Rosario plus vampire shit he's watching? What the fuck is that?
I'm not gonna judge you. You know, I've grown up.
No, Alex, a real one. Hold on.
I was waiting. I was like, is Eric gonna?
Eric must know
I was just throwing that one out to see if he responded.
I've grown up my whole life with Pearl being like this. I'm not gonna judge you. I promise.
What do you mean like this?
Like
whoa! Back that up. What do you mean?
You know what I said.
Hey, all right, listen. One of these days, I'm gonna get like a cease and desist on you and Lily. Just besmirching my name.
Yeah, it's either libel or slander. I'm not sure which one, but it is one of them. You know, can't be doing that.
I mean, just because it's true, every couple weeks doesn't mean it's 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Pull up the Discord messages. Wait, what was it? You just recommended me?
No, don't worry about it.
Chill.
Let me delete that real quick. Let me delete from the record. Quick. Let's get that out the way. Shit.
But yeah, so what did we talk about? We talked about Bungo Stray Dogs. We talked about Hell's Paradise.
Monster Musume, as always.
No, we did not.
Monster Musume.
It's a tentpole topic in this whole friend group. I swear to God, it is. I swear to God.
Royals Fructification.
We talked about
Yu Hakusho was Alex's. Eric's was Rokka Braves of the Six Flowers.
I'll definitely have to check that one out. That sounds like something that would really, tickle my pickle. You know what I'm saying?
Hey yo.
What else did we talk about?
It's probably like what? It's over 13 episodes, I think. It's pretty short.
Yeah, I have it pulled up right now. It is 13, including there's something just called PV, whatever that is. But 12 of the main episode.
Promotional video.
Oh, promotion. Oh, that's, you know what? That makes sense. It's 43 seconds long. I think, yeah, and then we talked very loosely about a bunch of anime. I mean, we talked about Death Note, we talked about One Piece, we talked about Naruto.
Yeah, can we shit on Death Note a little bit more? Listen, I love that anime so much, but man, what a fucking disappointment. It's just so, can't the bad guy ever just win? How come we never get that? It's just, it's fun every once in a while. I like that. Just let him rule the world. He played such a good game.
What's your take here? Is Light in the right?
Light did nothing fucking wrong, bro. He is the hero of this anime, man. He was fixing shit, all right? Because no one else had the balls to do it. So I respect Light. He's a good dude, a good bad dude. A bad good, you know what I mean?
A good bad
a bad good dude.
Look, I understand. Listen, killing is wrong, but at least he was killing also other bad people. I don't know.
Sure. He was cleaning up the riffraff.
I guess.
I genuinely don't know what I would do in that circumstance. It's not like, okay, well, one, I'm not going around killing people I know. But two, it's not like I give a fuck about these other people. Yeah. I feel like I would just have it in a corner. I don't know when I would use it.
Yeah.
I definitely at least hide it a little better. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be saying, I wouldn't, I wouldn't allow my hubris to reveal my location.
I will say that
I'm gonna take this potato chip and eat it.
Eat it. Have you ever seen the edit where it's just like what Light's parents hear, and it's just like it's like the footage of his mom downstairs washing dishes, and you just hear, "Oh, I am the god of the new world." And it's just fucking, it's awesome. It's just like the
you're gonna have to get close to the microphone to do that one.
Nah, it's good. Yeah, it's good shit though. Genuinely great anime. We didn't finish it. She kind of lost interest.
Like
I wish we finished season 1. It's so good.
it's not good.
It is so good.
I don't like it.
I gotta say, Rachel, I really liked it. For many years, that was like the main anime Eric was trying to recommend to me. He was like, "Hey man, you gotta watch this one. I think you're really gonna like it." And he was right. I really like it. I don't think I'm on board with Alex's statement about Light being, a good bad guy, but I thought it was very compelling. It definitely compelled me to do a lot of research. It was just one of those series that has good lore, and I like the rules that they put in place. And I feel like they do a decent job until the end of sticking to the rules they kind of established. And I thought that was cool. I don't know. They do some weird stuff with Light and rule bending about I don't know if I think it's the book holders whether or not they go to heaven or where they go after they die, and I don't know. They did some weird stuff with Light there, and I have some mixed feelings about it. But overall, I really liked it.
She just doesn't like
it's probably
anime,
last thing I'll add. is like what you said about the rule thing. That's so important. I don't give a fuck if you're trying to relay real life or fantasy. If you're just consistent, then like that kind of drives the story. I don't have time for retcons and other shit because I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just important too, because the thing is, like, there's nothing worse than the feeling of being like, oh, that's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, especially after it's like I invested all this time. It's like I don't want to be treated like I'm a fucking moron. You know?
Right.
It's just
this kind of ties back. Yeah, I absolutely agree. It is 100% insulting. It kind of ties back to what we were talking about earlier about how like a good anime with a good twist just kind of hits different. Like if you're unable to guess what happens, like that feels so good. Persona 4 anime adjacent, great twists, and it's it felt really impactful once you find out who the actual killer is. I think when it comes to like rule breaking, that is like the one exception I will say. Like if I didn't guess what the twist was because you made up a stupid rule, that's bad. That's not good. I want to be able to have like all of the rules laid out and allow myself the chance to maybe guess what happens. And if I do, great. But if I don't, it'll still feel satisfying because like you stayed within the confines of what you built. But if you kind of break that idea, that's a no-go for me.
And I think another problem with that too is like Shonen has the worst, like it's like the worst genre of fucking up its own rules. Like it's just like, oh, Dragon Ball's just like, oh, okay, you can only be brought back once by the Dragon Balls and everything. It's just like, oh, okay, we're gonna go to the other planet and get the other planet's Dragon Balls. Oh, okay, now it just doesn't even fucking matter. Everyone just comes back all the time anyway. Oh, okay, you could just come back for the day. It's like, oh, okay,
you can only use Dragon Ball content like twice in your life.
Right.
Oh, they're spamming it 5 times at once.
Yeah.
Like what?
Oh, it's that. Oh, there's even bigger Dragon Balls. The balls are even more massive. The wishes are bigger. Everything's super about this whole series. That you can wish for anything.
That's why they call it Dragon Ball Super, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, okay, man. Like, I wish this series had grown. I mean, no disrespect to Akira Toriyama, God rest his soul. But it's just like I wish the series was able to grow with the fan base too. It's just like, you could tell us another story within the same Dragon Ball world, and I think that would have been like a good way to go about it. Because at a certain point, it gets old. Too much shit gets rehashed.
Out of the universe, 6 Saiyans, like they really could have done anything.
Yeah, that too. But
or go. Okay, all right. My favorite character is Goten. Where has he been?
He's chilling, bro. He's chilling.
He's on the milk carton, bro. He's missing.
They just listen. That's just what happens in Dragon Ball. All right, characters with potential. Nah, fuck that. That's pussy shit. We're not doing that. Nah. Hey, how would you like to watch 6 more seasons of Goku? Would just get fucked up and then bring it back in the end. That you love that shit, don't you? You stupid fucks. You'll buy anything.
I do, but I like burgers, man. But sometimes I want a pizza, like shit.
I know. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's just like when's Gohan getting his chance? When is it time for Gohan to be cool?
He kind of got his chance. Some would say, but
he got one cell, and then they made him a pussy, bro. Then they messed up. They're like, get his bitch ass a tracksuit and let him stand on the sidelines. That's what his destiny is.
So I gotta say, no disrespect to the Great Saiyaman, but yeah, I the tracksuit, that's a different Gohan, not one that I subscribe to.
Yeah, I don't like Great Saiyaman either. That shit was fucking lame as fuck. So,
but maybe it's because I like how silly he is.
Yeah, see, that's my problem.
Hey,
I don't like that.
He's just a silly little guy.
Man didn't have his helmet on, and he went Super Saiyan 2 in the tournament though. That was pretty fire.
Pretty cool.
That man murdered another alien, and you know what I mean. He's different. He's not this little kid, playing superhero. I don't like that. I don't know. They ruined that shit for me. But anyway, well, we've hit our time today. So hey, thanks for coming on, everyone. I appreciate it. Good conversation. I'll definitely have to check out some of your recommendations. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, and bye.